Hi, I'm Courtney and welcome back to Haven's Kitchen. Today we'll be making gingery miso butter mashed potatoes. I love this recipe because I think as a Southerner, nothing really says comfort food quite like a good mashed potato. And our gingery miso really brings this super umami forward flavor to the mashed potato, which is otherwise, maybe done with a little bit of garlic, certainly lots of butter, a few herbs, but I really love this spin on it. This recipe also only has 5 ingredients and comes together in under 30 minutes. So if this recipe sounds like something you'd like to make, be sure to subscribe to see our future videos. All right, let's get started. So again, making mashed potatoes is a lot simpler than I think folks make it out to be. I am just going to be taking our potatoes here and covering them with cold water in a pot so that they can boil for about 20 to 25 minutes. We want to get them soft enough, but we want the skin to stay intact on our potato for the most part. We'll also be using a small saucepan to heat our milk and also melt our butter so that when our mashed potatoes are mashed and they're still hot, we can add our hot cream to that mixture. It's very important when you're making mashed potatoes that you don't add cold liquid to your hot potatoes. They're gonna seize up, they'll be really lumpy, and if you're ever wondering why your mashed potatoes are on the lumpier side, that very well could be a reason. So it's important to have everything at around the same temperature when you're mixing your mashed potatoes together. Let's go ahead and get cooking. So we're starting our potatoes in cold water and bringing it to a boil. And it's important to do that mostly so that you are cooking all of your potatoes pretty evenly. Oftentimes you'll find that a recipe will call for you to go ahead and put your potatoes into already boiling water, but you'll end up with fairly uneven cooking, and sometimes you will find that the outside of your potato is cooking much faster than the inside of your potato. All right, so we've got our potatoes out of the water. They've been cooking for about 25 minutes or so, and I've let them cool down just enough to be able to actually hold it. And a lot of people like to peel their potatoes before putting them in the boiling water. I find that it also makes your potatoes a little bit more waterlogged. So in order to prevent that, I just leave the peels on while they're boiling, and it's actually pretty easy to rub off once they've been cooked. And it pretty much just peels off in one big piece. There's something a little therapeutic about this. Like, I don't know, when I was younger, my grandma used to always ask me to peel potatoes for her. And my resentment of potato skins kind of grew from that because I just didn't want to do it. And so I'd be in there with a peeler and I felt like I was like in the army or something. I was just peeling all day long for Sunday dinner, and I really didn't enjoy it. So I found this little hack because I wanted to be lazy one day, and ever since I've also got my grandmother doing her potatoes this way, and it makes everybody's life so much easier. I feel like you just spend so much less time doing prep and more time around the table. And it's even fine if you don't want to peel off all of the peels. You can just leave some on, and then you can mash that into your potatoes. So now we're going to use our potato masher to just mash our potatoes. And it's really important, again, when you are making mashed potatoes, that you get them about as mashed as you know you want them before you add in your liquid as well. Once you add in your cream, whether it's hot or cold, it's just going to make it that much harder to get that really smooth consistency if that's what you want. So now we're going to add a little bit of salt to our mashed potatoes. I've gotten them to the consistency that I like, which is a little fluffy, still like a little lumpy, but the lumps are like pea-sized. They're pretty small. And now I'm going to add in my melted butter and milk mixture. And we're gonna pour in about half to start. And then we will throw in our gingery miso sauce. And we're gonna squeeze in about a quarter pouch just to start building our flavor, and you're always welcome to add more if you'd like. And I'm gonna use that masher again, just to get everything incorporated. And sometimes you'll find, depending on how you like your flavor and texture for your mashed potatoes, that you might not need much more than about half of your hot milk mixture. But if you would like them to be a little bit more smooth, then you're always welcome to add the rest. This is looking pretty tasty, y'all, not gonna lie. Oh, so good. Okay. It's very important to taste your food while you are cooking it. I feel like that is the thing that does not get talked about enough in the food world. The importance, and I think the thing that gives you the most confidence as a home cook, is actually engaging with your food while you're cooking it. Waiting to get it to the dinner table sometimes mean that you left out the salt. Now you have to add more salt on the back end, and it can be a little frustrating. You never want anybody to be like, hey, can you pass me the pepper? And of course, you want to give people the option to add salt and pepper, and those are things that are really about personal preference. But laying the groundwork for your flavors and building them in accordance with your tastes is really going to come from trying your food as you're making it. Don't do it with eggs. Don't do it with raw chicken. But for most things that are already in the cooking process, I think it's a great idea to just sort of give it a taste, see how you're feeling, and then make adjustments from there. Now, if you're like me, you like your mashed potatoes a little extra buttery. We only ended up putting about half of our milk mixture into this, so we only got about 3 tablespoons or so of the butter that we had already accounted for into our actual mashed potatoes. But if you want a little extra, and I mean, I just kind of generally love this combination, our gingery miso sauce with a little bit of melted butter really makes for this super velvety, super umami-y, kind of rich without being overwhelming sort of flourish on our finished dish. So let's go ahead, back on over to the stove and make that. So we're just gonna melt 2 tablespoons of butter in our saucepan. I use the same saucepan that we use to heat up our milk mixture. We don't really wanna use too many pans. Let's try to keep this as simple as possible when we're in the kitchen. I feel like nothing's more dreadful than thinking about all that cleanup. So we'll let this melt, and then we'll add in our gingery miso sauce. All right, so we've made our miso butter sauce to top our ginger miso mashed potatoes, and now we're gonna plate. So I like to scoop these directly into a bowl. And right now, these mashed potatoes are pretty unassuming. Like, would I invite these out for a night on the town? I don't think so, as it stands. So something that's really cool, I love this little hack, is you just take the back of your spoon and you sort of press your mashed potatoes down into the bowl. And you get like these really beautiful grooves. And then this is where we'll pour our miso butter sauce. All right, so there you have it, our gingery miso mashed potatoes. There are a lot of home cooks who are intimidated by the idea of mashed potatoes. Hopefully this recipe helps you feel super confident going into your mashed potato adventures. And if so, be sure to like this video and subscribe to see all of our future recipe videos. For the full recipe and textable shopping list, click the link below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, cook happy.